Hey guys, Murar here. Welcome back to the channel. So I came across this interview with Geoffrey Hinton, who is considered the godfather of AI, basically. And in this interview, he's basically trying to warn us about some of the potential outcomes. Now, before we start, I just want to make it very clear. I don't want to scare anyone. It's just this is one of those topics I've been thinking about quite a lot, actually. How AI is evolving, how it will evolve at a much faster rate than we think, and we sort of need to be better prepared to have this conversation with ourselves so we can think about what we could do in response when this finally happens. So I just want to look at some of the highlights and have a conversation with you all about what's about to come, because I feel like AI is going to change our lives pretty much like how COVID changed our lives forever. Until now we can feel the impact of COVID, basically how it changed so many things. For instance, it introduced the concept of work, or it normalized the concept of working from home. I feel like AI is going to introduce new patterns or new trends or new things that we have never really known otherwise.
Can make a person with an AI assistant much more efficient, and you won't lead to less people because you'll just have much more of that being done. But most jobs, I think, are not like that.
Am I right in thinking this sort of industrial revolution played a role in replacing muscles?
Yes, exactly.
And this revolution in AI replaces intelligence, the brain?
Yeah. So mundane intellectual labor is like having strong muscles, and it's not worth much anymore.
So
That bit has actually just made me think the other day that it's designed to replace the human mind, and it just made me think about all these people who are studying engineering, science, and all these kind of things. Will they be replaced, basically? And he talks about how industrial revolution basically replaces people in terms of muscle, because machines can, for example, dig in a much more efficient way. Will machines now think in a much more efficient way? That is something we will probably start seeing in the future, I guess. They'll probably do it much faster, much better, because they can constantly upgrade themselves with the arrival of what he calls it the super intelligence, which is the end game of AI, if you want.
muscles have been replaced. Now intelligence is being replaced.
Yeah.
So what remains?
Maybe for a while some kinds of creativity, but the whole idea of superintelligence is nothing remains. These things will get to be better than us at everything.
So what?
So they get to be better than us in everything. 8 billion people, and we have super intelligence that better than 8 billion people in everything. So I'm trying to comprehend the outcome of this, because that is going to change existence forever. 8 billion people cannot compete with super intelligence. What are they going to be doing? How are they going to be supporting themselves? It's really hard to articulate or talk about this, because I feel like the reality or the life that I know and that we all know is about to change, and then there's no really going back, basically.
What do we end up doing in such a world?
Well, if they work for us, we end up getting lots of goods and services for not much effort.
Okay, but that sounds tempting and nice, but I don't know, there's a cautionary tale in creating more and more ease for humans in it going badly.
Yes, and we need to figure out if we can make it go well. So the nice scenario is, imagine a company with a CEO.
So super intelligence might basically assign us with resources and make everything free for everyone. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it's that's the dystopian scenario, let's say, where everyone lives a healthy, long life, and then they get to do whatever they want. But I don't know, and everyone is going to struggle with purpose. Well, what are we going to do if AI is going to do everything for us? What is our purpose anymore? Do we not do anything?
Almost all areas, it just knows more than you do. Yeah, it might be. It might be even closer. Some people think it's even closer. It might well be much further. It might be 50 years away. That's still a possibility. It might be that somehow training on human data limits you to not being much smarter than humans. My guess is between 10 and 20 years we'll have superintelligence.
On this point of joblessness, it's something that I've been thinking a lot about, in particular because I started messing around with AI agents, and we released an episode on the podcast actually this.
It's quite interesting how he says because AI is from learning from people, it may copy our limited ways of development, but eventually it will find a way to outsmart and outclass us in every certain way, in pretty much in every area as well.
Right?
Because it can modify
It can
itself.
change itself in a way we can't change ourselves. We can't change our innate endowment, right? There's nothing about itself that it couldn't change.
On this point of joblessness, you have kids,
I do.
and they have kids?
No.
They don't have kids, so no grandkids yet. What would you be saying to people about their career prospects in a world of superintelligence? What should we be thinking about?
In the meantime, I'd say it's going to be a long time before it's as good at physical manipulation as us.
Okay.
And so a good bet would be to be a plumber.
Until the humanoid robots show up.
I don't think he's joking when he's talking about being a plumber. I think if you're a musician, or if you're a baker, if you're a plumber, if you're an electrician, I think my guess is you're probably going to be safe for quite a while, because robotics have not developed yet. But then again, we're saying all of this, we're assuming that is going to take a long time. But if you look at the pattern of technology and how everything, it always develops at a much faster rate from how it used to develop decades ago. And I don't know, if we end up with humanoid robots that will have the same physical dexterity as people, I don't think even being a plumber is going to save any of us. What are we going to end up with? Are we going to end up with a scenario like the movie Elysium, where the elite part of society live above the clouds and the rest of the people live in a polluted earth? Maybe. But then again, I keep thinking about the word purpose. What would be humanity's purpose in that stage? What could we be possibly doing? That's what I'm trying to think about, is how will humanity cope with having no purpose at all if AI will do everything for us, whether the scenario is good or bad?
I haven't come to terms with what the development of superintelligence could do to my children's future. I'm okay, I'm 77. I'm going to be out of here soon. But for my children and my younger friends, my nephews and nieces, and their children, I just don't like to think about what could happen.
Why?
Because it could be awful.
In what way?
Well, if I ever decided to take over, I mean, it would need people for a while to run the power stations until it designed better analog machines to run the power stations. There's so many ways it could get rid of people, all of which would, of course, be very nasty.
Is that part of the reason you do what you do now?
Yeah. I mean, I think we should be making a huge effort right now to try and figure out if we can develop it safely.
Are you?
This is the thing. He talks about an effort to try and develop it safely. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think we're really taking this seriously at all. Every time I talk to people, everyone is, just like what he's saying, I think a lot of people avoid having that conversation nowadays about AI, whether it will replace them or not, because it's a very unpleasant one. And this is exactly why I'm talking about it as usual. In this channel, I always try to spread awareness to, make people more in control. But really, if it becomes independent and it's self-sufficient, then what is going to happen? What is it going to come of us, basically? And I keep thinking back about COVID, because during COVID, we no one really took it seriously until it was too late. And I hate to think in a similar scenario where, super intelligence becomes so efficient where it's too late. And then I could be wrong, but I think just the takeaway from this video is really to start thinking about what we could do alternatively. Now he talks about, we have the physical dexterity, we have the advantage at the moment. So I think the outcome of that is, it's a good idea if we could look after ourselves physically, look after our health, because we might need to do like some physical related activities or tasks in the future. So the easiest way to prepare myself is to making sure that, I eat healthily, I take care of myself, I exercise, and so on. And also the other thing as well is to think about what I could maybe study or develop my skills so I could maybe perhaps communicate better with AI, so then I can match that trend in jobs and so on. And if you know anyone who's sort of about to study also, it's a good idea to have that conversation with them and tell them to look really carefully. Because for example, I know people who are graphic designers now, and they started telling me things like that. They don't really get a lot of customers as they used to, because people nowadays just rely on AI for graphic design. You can pay for subscription and then you can keep on asking it. It's infinitely patient, basically. There's no human touch. However, having said that, I still believe that we will still have a surge of businesses that pride itself by having people only, especially for example restaurants, and I can imagine like businesses that will have a tagline that says, everyone in this company, all the products were made by humans only, no AI was involved. But yeah, so this was just I felt like I really needed to make this video because I kept thinking about this for a long time. I feel so much better talking about it, and I hope you have found this useful as well. I hope it has not made you uncomfortable, because that's not the whole point of this video. My whole point is I'm trying to have this conversation in a productive way where we can learn how to prepare ourselves better for the future. So if you guys made it this part of this video as usual, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I highly recommend you watch the full version of this video with Diary of a CEO Eclipse, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.